So this is... where is it? Hildryn. She is going to be the next frame, and just from the Arcwing that's going to come with her, this thing, honestly, out of all of this, that Arcwing right there, for the first time I seen it coming in, I thought, ah, new Arcwing. Is it one of her abilities? It is not. It looks like it's going to be a completely separate weapon, kind of unique to her, so maybe that's her syndicate weapon, but she is going to have a lot of shields. Look in the top right, 4,545 shields. The way that it looks like she is going to work, from what they said, is there is going to be very little energy. Of course, we couldn't see this because the devstream stuff was across the bottom, so no idea what them numbers actually were, but it's going to be low power usage because she's going to have a lot of shields. And honestly, just looking at this thing, I saw the shield number and went, ah, so they've made frames that were just pure health. This is going to be one that is just pure shields and has very little health. It looks like it's got about an average health with a lot of shields. Her first ability, called Balefire, is basically a charged fire weapon that is going to be moddable separately, kind of like Exalted Blade and such, or Exalted Weapons. So it's not going to be reliant on pistols you have equipped, it's going to be solely reliant on its own mods, but it shoots what they referred to as energy rockets. If you've used charged weapons before, and it's literally worded pretty much like that, you will know roughly how this thing is going to work. This is the first ability. The second ability, however, that right there, that is called Shield Pillage. It is a beam that will go out from her, and when it comes back will suck the shields off enemies and give them to her. Kind of showed this using on enemies, but not really that good compared to just this. It will also give the shields to allies and rid your allies of elemental damage as it travels out, not as it comes in. And they did specify it's as it goes out, not as it comes in. I honestly saw this and thought, that's going to be pretty cool, because it means you're going to be able to recharge that 4 and a bit thousand shields, but you can also see when it's active, it uses the shields as energy for her abilities. And even though that is her third ability, they didn't really show it in use that much, but how it's going to work is it's going to be a toggle, and you will see it in action when I show you her fourth in a moment, and it's going to... it's a shield drain. It toggles when active, and when it is active, enemies in range will have their shield drained, and you can give this to allies, same as you kind of can with the shield pillage. That takes off the elemental. This will add the shields, sucking it from enemies over time, making it actually predictably useful. And then we have this, as you can see when she kind of moves around, these things appear on her shoulder. Like Limbo, and this is again kind of how they explained it. Instead of jumping into another dimension like Limbo does, she summons these shields that come out from her shoulders, and I think this is going to be kind of like her passive. I don't think they actually mentioned it, but it means that she is going to behave a lot like Limbo when she comes to movement of bullet jumping and things like that, but does look cool and should add another defensive ability to this frame. With that level of shields, this frame is actually looking better. I mean, it's no Wisp. Wisp, they didn't show abilities, but as soon as I saw that frame, I thought, I want her. She looks cool. Then there is her fourth, her ultimate, Age Storm, which kind of works like Arcwing. As you go up, it will increase the radius, it levitates enemies. You can see her third ability in use here, the shield drain, and honestly, just from this bit kind of here where you're flying around, you can use all her abilities this way. Her ultimate looked absolutely amazing. All of her abilities seem to blend very well, and the fact that they can all be cast from inside of Age Storm, her ultimate ability, really does look good. And even though I couldn't really put the sound on this, The sound of flying round sounds like it's been ripped from an actual helicopter, and it sounded pretty cool, but the fact it levitates enemies in place, you can use all your other abilities to deal damage to them and have the ability of kind of flight. I say kind of because, as you can see, it's not the best of flight systems. This frame, I wasn't really hyped for until this dev stream, and I'm kind of glad it was delayed last week, because seeing the more, I don't want to say polished, but the better working version of her than might have been there last week did show her off a lot. And even though I'm still personally looking forward to that Arcwind gun they said very little about, more than anything else, just the fact that you can do this and raise them off the floor while stealing their shields, yeah, really looking forward to Hildryn more and more. Wisp, just that little bit more though.